Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to another episode of The Last Few Pounds. If this is your first time here, welcome, and if you have not subscribed yet, then go ahead and do that real quick, get it out of the way, because if you are interested in losing body fat, that is pretty much all I talk about on this channel. Today is going to be a little bit of a switch up though, because a bunch of us are we're exercising social distancing, which is important. And some of us are self-quarantining. Some people think that's the same thing. Whatever, we're all doing our part during this time. And so I did get a couple of requests to do an at-home workout video. There are plenty on YouTube, but I thought, hey, I may as well do mine too. And this is just for your average Joe, not for your person who's completely yoked or already in the gym all the time. If you're stuck at home and just want to get some activity going that you can do that will be challenging and good for your heart and good for your muscles, then stay tuned, because that's what's about ready to happen. First things first, I'm going to put on a little extra layer since I'm headed out to the garage for my workout. It's a little bit chilly outside. I also want to thank everybody so much for subscribing to this channel. I've reached 900 subscribers. I'm really happy about that. So close to 1,000. Yay! So please also feel free to share this video if you think it could be helpful for anybody that you know. Another quick thought, I want to let you all know that I'm going to start doing videos every week now. And normally I don't focus on weights. I tend to focus mostly on nutrition. I have put out some content lately about fasting, and I kind of have a fasting series that I'm sort of in the middle of. But there are lots of ways to lose weight. If you feel like these videos are not enough for you, and if you would like one-on-one coaching, it's something that I do and that I love to do, and please see my email in the description box below. I check my emails a few times a week. All right, enough chit-chat, let's get to it, and let's go ahead and meet up in the garage. He doesn't want to go in the garage. This guy doesn't want to go in the garage. Let's first talk about equipment. Now, I said you don't really need equipment, and what I meant by that are the weights. So I have some weights here. I have a bench. You don't need weights and you don't need a bench to get a good workout at home, but what I mean are some basic things that you want to take care of. For instance, I'm wearing Crocs. I love wearing my Crocs. Let me see if I can show you. I don't know if you can see that. I do. I love wearing my Crocs. I also take off my ring when I work out if I plan on holding any weights. And even though I'm not going to be doing the dumbbells that I have at home today for the purpose of this video, because I want to be able to show you ways to work out without dumbbells, that's just, I think it's a good habit to get into. Some people really disagree with me. I have seen, when I took first aid, I've seen too many videos and photos of people who had their finger skin ripped off because their ring was on when they were doing something that just went wrong, and I think a weight could probably do that, so I don't want to risk it. Let's get back to the shoe business. You should not lift heavy in Crocs. If you're going to be lifting really heavy and don't have proper weightlifting shoes for that, then Chucks are really great because they're just flat soled. There's not cushion under there. It's hard and for the most part, and anyway, I recommend that you try those. But if you're not lifting heavy, I mean, today we're not going to be really lifting heavy. We're just doing you're so cute, at home workouts, so you can go ahead and you can you can wear tennis shoes for that. That'll be fine. At the end of this video, I'll go ahead and do a couple of quick workouts that you can do if all you have are dumbbells, because if you happen to have dumbbells at home, it's very helpful, and you can do a full body workout with just dumbbells, from your traps all the way down to your calves. And sometimes people think that dumbbells are just upper body, but they're not, so I can give you a couple of pointers. I'll do that really quickly toward the end of the video. Instead of weights today, we're going to be using soy milk. You can grab a Tetra Pak of any kind that has liquid in it, and if you want to use weights, you don't have to use weights at all, but if you're like, gosh, I'm really not feeling anything, I need to have like a little bit of weight, then a small Tetra Pak, these weigh like about 2¼ pounds, so they're really light, generally speaking. It's 32 fluid ounces. And then this one that is 64 fluid ounces, this one weighs double that, which is just under 5½ pounds. Again, these are light, but if you don't have any weights at home, what are you gonna do? I saw some people do gallons of water or, you know, full gallon jugs, but the problem with that is that if you accidentally drop them, then gallon jugs full are pretty easy to break, and then you'll have a complete disastrous mess on your hands. So I like the Tetra Paks. Let's go ahead and get started with some upper body exercises that you can do at home with just your body weight. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to make any of you happy, because push-ups are not necessarily fun, but they definitely work, and you only need your body weight for it. If you can't do a full push-up, that's okay. It took me a while to do my first push-up. You can start on your knees, of course, put a pad down underneath your knees so you don't injure them. But what I also recommend people do if you can't do a push-up is that you go in the regular push-up position, already up, and that you just hold it and you go down a little bit, even if it's an inch, and push back up. And you do both of those things. You try the knee method and the barely push-up method until you can build yourself up to a regular push-up. Starting with a knee push-up, of course, you can just go down until your elbows and your arms, they form kind of a 90-degree angle. It's a little hard to see on the camera, but hopefully you can tell what it is that I'm doing. And then you can push up. Some people will say that's the wrong way to do it, because they'll say, well, what you should do is your hands closer together and then more like this. Keep your elbows tucked in. You really could do either way. It depends on which muscle you want to be targeting more. So if you have your arms kind of flared out like this, it's going to target your shoulders and your arms a little bit. But if you do, meaning the bicep, if you keep your elbows in closer, that's going to target the chest and the triceps. I'm not saying that the other way will not target the chest and the triceps, but this way targets those areas more. I know you can't really see it, but you're on your toes and the balls of your feet, and you want to kind of push yourself forward so that your arms are directly beneath your shoulders. And I recommend that you do what you can until you're like, just no more, and then give yourself a little bit of a rest and try again. Try that for 3 sets. If either of those variations are too difficult for you, that's okay. You can use your kitchen counter and simply push up from the kitchen counter and then go more horizontal as you get more advanced. Just make sure that you have a nice solid surface that you can stand on, and that you are not going to have your feet slip out from under you if you are pushing up from the kitchen counter, because that can cause serious injury. I like to get push-ups out of the way first, because for me, I can do about 20-25 in a row, and I like to get that done when I'm fresh. Some people will definitely disagree with me on that. That's okay, you do what works best for you. Let's go ahead and switch it up and go to a lower body movement. What I'm talking about is a Bulgarian split squat. So let's take a look at this bench where I stick my foot on the bench. But the reason why I kind of am not wanting to do that is because I want to show you can just do this on a chair. But you understand that you can do this on a chair, right? I wish I had something better to stick this phone camera on, but I don't. I'm in my garage. I'm totally ill-equipped for this, so thanks for hanging with me. You stick one foot onto the seated surface, and then you basically do a single leg squat using the other leg. You want to make sure that your back leg is far back enough. And I know my bag's in the way, it's okay. So because I have very, very long legs, I'm super tall, 5'11", I have to step out quite far in front of the bench and kind of just try to make this work for me. The goal is to kind of get your front leg to be close to a 90-degree angle when you're going down. And that's going to be possible for some and not possible for others. That's okay, just do your best. I am not the greatest at this exercise, I'll be honest. So I tend to skip these. But the reason why they're important is because, first of all, it's a single leg exercise. The great thing about single side exercises is that you can balance out any imbalances. So I recommend that you go ahead and try them. Second, when I'm at a gym, I have all kinds of other things that I can do instead of the things that I really dislike. There's so many alternatives out there, so I just use one of those alternatives. But since I'm at home and I'm kind of stuck, I will be doing more Bulgarian split squats. For me, I think it might be easier to do these weighted, just to provide a little bit more balance. So I'm going to grab my little Tetra Paks, my small ones, just hold them like this, maybe this way, maybe it'd make it easier. Just make sure that your knee does not extend past your toes when you go down. The deeper that you can get into that squat, the better it's going to be in terms of your muscle activation. And if you need it to be more challenging for you, go slower, especially on the negative portion as you're heading down toward the ground. That will burn your quads out, my God. Let's go back to the upper body and see what we can come up with. I'm going to use my larger Tetra Paks for this exercise. I'm just going to do a hammer curl, which is like a regular dumbbell curl, but since we've got Tetra Paks, it's a little bit difficult. I guess you could hold it like this and go all the way down, that's fine. But if you hold it like this, it's a hammer curl, and it works your muscles slightly differently. It also is great for your forearms. We could do both, why not? All right, here we go. So regular bicep curl, you would just extend all the way down and then slowly come up. These are so light, really. I know you're gonna think that it's gonna be nothing for your muscles, but I promise you that if you go slowly enough, you are going to feel a burn. It just might take a few extra reps. And then for a hammer curl, just turn those Tetra Paks vertically and do the same thing. Extend all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, and all the way up. It's funny. Even I'm starting to feel a little bit of a burn, and I thought that these light Tetra Paks would not do it, but they are. Let's go ahead and hit another upper body exercise. While we're here, I'm grabbing the smaller Tetra Paks, and I want to do a lateral raise for the shoulders. Work out those shoulders. So you take the Tetra Pak and you use what's called a pronated grip, which means that your wrists are sort of faced down, or your palms are facing down. I know the angle's really funky on this phone, sorry about that, but that's the way it goes. All right, then you raise. There's no need to raise all the way up here. That's not necessary. You just raise so that your arms are parallel to the ground. And hell, even if you just hold the Tetra Paks like this, I'm feeling it. These are only like 2¼ pounds, but I'm feeling it. You could just hold them for a while, or you can go all the way down and then do it again. That's fine. Really squeeze those shoulders at the top. All right, another thing that you can do is partial lateral raises, where here it is, your arms are parallel to the floor and you just raise and lower like this. I am feeling that burn. Or you could do partials down here, where you don't put your arms all the way down to your side, you don't let your arms rest, and you simply do that. So you can do lower partials or you can do higher partials, but again, the key is going to be doing them slowly, because that's how you're going to feel the burn with lighter weights. Could you do these with no weights? Technically, but I don't think that this is a good exercise to do with no weights. Same with any sort of bicep curl. I think it would take probably about 1,000 with no weights, just moving your arm like this to feel anything. So try to get something. Even a can of soup is going to weigh about 1 pound. So just use anything that you can find around the house that's weighted and that can help you get exercise in. Now the thing about lateral raises is it tends to work out your side delts and your front delts, but you don't want to forget your rear delts. That way you have a nice balance going with your shoulders. My favorite way to do that in the gym is with the cable machine. It's great, but we don't have that here. So let me just show you what you can do with the small Tetra Pak. You can lean over, grab these small Tetra Paks with a pronated grip, hang your arms down, and then you lift to your side this way. Keep that grip on that Tetra Pak. Again, there's no reason to come up behind, way behind your back. Just keep it so that your arms are parallel to the ground. Whoo, I'm shaking. And then you lower. Another thing you can do is you can kind of bend your elbow and go back like this. Move your arms back kind of like wings so that when you come back, your knuckles are facing behind you. And then if you're using this type of method, you want to really try to get those arms a little tiny bit behind you and really squeeze that rear delt. So you can do that. It takes very light weights to get that rear delt to pop and be activated when you're using these kinds of exercises. You want to do a couple more low body exercises? That's what I thought I heard. So let's go ahead and do that. Now you can do this with large Tetra Paks, or you could use just your own body weight with no weights whatsoever. If it just depends on your skill level and how challenging you want your workout to be. I say go challenging, but that's just me. If you want to use just your body weight, you can go ahead and do squats, and they look like this. You want to keep your feet about shoulder width apart or hip width apart. And then what you want to do is keep your hands in front of you as a counterbalance, and you want to sit back. Woo! Gotta move this door again. It's driving me crazy. I know that really affected the lighting, but I want you to see what I'm doing. So you sit back and you push yourself up while squeezing your quads and your butt at the top. So down, squeeze. Again, if you do this slowly enough, you're gonna feel a burn, regardless of whether you use weights or not. If you want to use the Tetra Paks, that's fine. Just use a neutral grip on these. It's gonna make it easier for you. Go down and back up. You want to stick your butt out like you're sitting on something really low, and then push yourself back up. Try not to use momentum at the bottom. Try not to spring yourself back up. Don't do that. That's gonna do very little for you. Also, you want to keep your back as flat as possible. None of this rounding stuff, don't do that. That's gonna be bad for your back. And here's the thing, even if you're using light weights like that, it's important to make sure that you are forming good habits. It's generally a pretty bad habit to be rounding your back when you're at the gym lifting. Another thing you want to avoid is called the butt wink. I hope you all love my dogs. A butt wink is when you are down at the bottom, and in order to get yourself at the top, you kind of move your butt in just a little bit. So your back is pretty much flat, but that butt comes in a little bit to get you to come up. You want to avoid that because, again, that's bad form. If you end up finding yourself doing a butt wink, it means that you're using too heavy weights, and you just need to lower them a little bit or try just a body exercise. Another thing that shows you that you're using weights that are too heavy is the knee buckle. So when you're squatting, here you are, here's the front view, and in order to get yourself to come up, you kind of do this. The knees buckle a little bit. It's understandable why people do that. You don't want to fall over, and I get it, but it's a lot better to just go ahead and get rid of the weights or lower the weights and make sure that you can come up with great form and that your knees are not buckling at all. Another tip for squats is that you don't want to rest too long at the top. You want to try to keep that tension at the top, squeeze, and then come back on down. So do as many as you can. I think that for all of these, since we're using little to no weight, you probably want to aim for about 4 sets, but you do you. You do you. Let's go ahead and do 2 more lower body exercises. We're going to target the hamstrings and the glutes in 2 different ways. For this one, I wanted to get all the way down onto the floor so you can see what I'm doing at my feet. And then I'm also going to move the camera back up so you can see what's happening at my backside. This is a Romanian deadlift where you keep your legs straight, and I'm using the larger Tetra Paks, and essentially you bend over. You can touch the weights to the ground if you want to, it's up to you. I tend to not do that. My legs should probably be a little bit farther apart. All right. Hip width apart at this point. And then really concentrate. Use your hamstrings and especially your glutes to raise your entire body. So one thing you're not doing is you're not using your back or your arms at all. You're using just your hamstrings and your glutes to raise your body upward. And I promise you that if you do this slowly enough and squeeze your butt at the top, you are going to feel it. Now from the side, again, we're going to keep that back flat. Just going to lower these a bit and keeping your core as tight as possible. I don't have the world's tightest core, so it's a little bit embarrassing, but keeping your core tight, not letting it relax like this. Really keep it tight, and then use the glutes and the hamstrings to pull your body up, squeeze at the top, and keep going. Slowly but surely. Oh, I promise you, you're gonna really feel that here and here, and if not now, tomorrow morning. Another good floor exercise is a bridge. This is where you're on the floor, and I can't believe I'm on the floor of my nasty ass garage, but you have your feet flat on the ground. Again, ideally about hip width apart, or a little bit farther apart is fine. And you simply keep you don't want to be bending your neck like this. Keep your head like this, or you can look straight in front of you, but none of this business. And you use your glutes, and probably recruiting some of your hamstrings too, to push that butt up off the ground like this. Squeeze at the top, lower. You really do not need weights for this, but if you wanted weights, you could put a Tetra Pak or two right on top of your pelvic area and push up like this. Another variation of this that is a lot more challenging is if you put your feet together and do a frog pump. As close to your butt as possible, and you do the same thing. You squeeze that butt up. I'm doing exactly what I said not to do. I'm raising my head up. That's not good. Don't do that. I promise you, even without any weights, you do 30 of these in a row, times 3, you're going to feel it. While I've got you there, let's go ahead and just do the calves really quickly. I'm going to be holding the Tetra Paks by my hips, but I want to show you what I'm doing with my feet, because some people think calf raises are just really super simple, but if you focus on the right part, you're going to activate your calves better than in other ways. So what I like to do, and this is a tip from Erin Stern, I highly recommend that you follow her. She's amazing. Oh, you kind of work out your calves? What you do is when you're pushing yourself up, don't think about pushing yourself up. Think about pushing your leg, or your foot, the top of your foot, forward. You want to push that foot forward as you're lifting up. And you want to not hurt a doggy when you do it. So let's go ahead. I'm going to move my feet out so I'm not hurting my poor dog. And what I like to do is not let my feet completely rest on the ground. It might look like it with my shoes that I'm doing that, but I'm not really doing that. I'm pushing forward and I'm letting go. Pushing forward, letting go. You can probably do a ton of those before you feel any activation in your calves, but my hope is that if you concentrate on really pushing that foot forward, that you will get more activation more quickly than you would otherwise. Let's go ahead and do a few more exercises. We're gonna go back to the shoulders. We're gonna do an overhead shoulder press. Again, I've got my larger Tetra Paks, and I'm trying to keep my elbows, I mean, I know they're not perfectly perpendicular, but I'm big. I have long limbs, so this is gonna happen with me. As you can probably see on the video, but I'm really white, so muscle definition is not my strong suit on the video. My muscles are already activated just doing this, and you just push overhead. And you come down, but don't come down like this. Don't let yourself rest like that. the goal is to give your body a challenge. So I'm going to kind of squat. Normally don't squat, I'm just doing this for the camera so you can see where my arm positioning is. So you have your arms out to your side, weights are about by your ears, and you just push straight up and lower. And don't come quick down on the lowering either. Again, it's the negative portion of exercises that are going to lead to the most muscle growth. That's science. Finally, we don't want to forget our abs, so I'm going to show you 2 ab exercises that are pretty great and generally quick. One is a vacuum and the other is going to be a plank. And most of you already know how to do a plank, but it's really important that your form is correct. Otherwise, it's a wasted exercise. So let's start with a vacuum. I tend to suck at vacuums. I'll be really honest. I need to improve greatly, but both the vacuum and a plank, they train your transverse abdominis, and so that keeps your waist nice and tight. And if you're trying to slim down that waist, these are 2 great exercises for that. Again, Erin Stern, I will have to point you all to her because she does an excellent video or 2 on vacuums, but let's just have this be all inclusive as a full body workout that you can do. So I want to show you kind of what I'm doing. I'm gonna breathe out all the way, and then I'm going to sort of like, instead of breathing in, I'm going to try to pull my belly button as far back as I can, and you'll see hopefully you'll see my ribs a little bit, and then I'm going to try to hold it. Now, once you get a little more advanced at these, you can kind of breathe while you're sucking in your belly button, but if you've never done this before and you're having a difficult time, you might have an easier time lying down flat on your back doing these, or even perhaps sitting and doing these. But I'm going to show you because, frankly, again, camera angles. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to breathe out. I'm going to breathe in this belly button. I wish I could do that for longer. Again, I really need to build up my stamina on that one, but it is good for you, and so yeah, improvement. We all need to improve, right? Finally, the plank. One thing that's really important is to make sure that your elbows are right below your shoulder. You want to have that nice 90-degree angle there. Then you want to be on your toes and the balls of your feet, and then if you can, sort of push up so that you're kind of moving your body forward a little bit. So let's say you're kind of back here, push up, and then if you need to push yourself a little bit forward to get that 90-degree angle, go ahead and do that. Then you want to keep your body nice and tight so that your body forms a perfect plank position, meaning flat like a plank. It's really easy to have your butt go a little bit higher, it makes it a little bit easier, or swing down low a little bit, let your abs go. No, don't do that. Keep everything nice and tight and locked. When you start to feel yourself shake, try to stick with it and burn through that. I really like doing a plank while I'm listening to music because with the workout mix that I have, those types of songs tend to go in 30-second increments, meaning the chorus tends to last about 30 seconds, a verse will last about 30 seconds, a bridge will last 30 seconds. So as I'm listening to the music, I think, okay, I'm getting close to a minute now. I like doing planks for about a minute long at a time, but I had to build up to that. There is absolutely no shame in starting off with a 10-second plank. You can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Everybody who knows me knows that I have never been this fit in my life. Like, never. I was not like naturally gifted, naturally athletic at all. This is just what I've built up to, and I consider myself a very average person when it comes to this kind of stuff. I promised that I would show a couple of exercises in case you happen to have a set of dumbbells at home. So obviously you can go ahead and you can do a lateral raise, you can do your dumbbell curls, you can do all kinds of things. If you have a heavy set of dumbbells and you're like, there's no way I'm going to do curls with this or whatever, let me show you a trick. You can use both hands to lift it up and try to use one arm for that negative, because the negatives are really, really important. I know I've said it before, but it's really, really true. There's nothing wrong with doing this until you can build up your strength. Oh, well, that was me just doing it. Hold on. There we go. That's fine. You can do the same thing when it comes to the shoulder press. So let's say you can't do 20-pound shoulder presses, that's fine. Use your other hand to help you lift it up, and then slowly get yourself back down. Whew, almost tipping over on that one. If you have a heavy set of dumbbells, you can also do partials, and that's going to be very challenging. Actually, partials with heavy weights or light weights can be helpful. It just depends on how many reps you end up doing. For lower body, you can always do a deadlift, a dumbbell deadlift, where you bend your knees and then squeeze your butt on the way up. Use your quads and your butt to move your whole body up. And even a Romanian deadlift like we did earlier, where you have a pronated grip here and you bring yourself down slowly and use your hamstrings in your butt to lift yourself up. That's going to be great if you happen to have some dumbbells. So please don't think that all is lost if you only have a set of dumbbells at home or if you have no weights at home, because you too can get a full workout. I hope that you found this useful. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Feel free to leave a comment or a question below, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, ciao. Whew! Man, I'm feeling it.